check Facebook. Check Beyond the Game Facebook. Check what we got? Beyond the Game Instagram. Everything. Q Walker, Snapchat. Everything. All that. Everything. You gonna see it right here. See it. All that.
Hey, what's happening? It's your boy Q Walker from Beyond the Game, here giving you our NBA Weekly Recap Show where we talk about everything from the past week's narratives, storylines, give you some highlights, and everything in between. So let's get right on into it. Of course, last week in the NBA, you had the NBA trade deadline going on. You had KD's comments about his former teammates in Oklahoma City Thunder. And of course, you got AllStar Weekend coming up this weekend as well. We'll talk about all of that. We'll tackle everything and get right into it. But the first things first is All That Smoke podcast had Kevin Durant on as their guest this week. And on that podcast with, Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, KD made some crazy remarks about some of his former teammates. He didn't call nobody out by name or anything like that, but he made some comments that, kind of went into his thought process of why he chose the Golden State Warriors in that summer. But I think he was taking a couple of shots at his teammates. Some people may say different, but I think he was taking a couple of shots. But instead of me telling you what he said, won't you go ahead and check out this
season even
clip
started.
right here?
You know what I mean? It was like, I'm going to play out my last season as hard as I can. And I'm not telling anybody I want to leave. I'm not packing in. I'm trying to win as much as we can and trying to end this out right. That was my thinking going in before the year. And obviously I had a few teams, but the Warriors is a team I wanted to play for because, the movement they had, the passing, they led the league in assists. And when Scott Brooks is my coach, that's all we talked about is wanting to lead the league in assists. And so playing with, that team, that's what I was thinking about. So when we got to the playoffs, it was just like, let's see what happens. We got a young team. We beat San Antonio in 6. Like, that's a great win. That's a great win against a team that been running through people all season. And, Russell had to make big shots. I had to make big shots. Andre Roberson came alive. Deion Waiters started to play well. So I'm like, all right, we get some momentum. And this Cantor was coming on. Then we get to the Warriors. It's just a whole different series. They're going to sell out to stop me. Meaning they're going to leave Andre Roberson.
Anybody but
Steph.
you.
I would
Anybody
too.
but me.
I would leave Andre Roberson too.
And I'm just
He
like,
couldn't hit a house if he was in the kitchen. Fuck you mean? I'll leave his ass.
He was great for our team in that series because he can guard, but he knew that he wasn't gonna help us shooting threes, and everybody in the world knew that. So, and it's easy for a team to guard us when we got guys that not respect it from the three.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I was tired of playing in that system. I was tired of having to be the only guy that can make threes, make jump shots, and consistently make them. So. My mind was already thinking about how can I develop my game more so than the Warriors versus Thunder, that rivalry. Even if that was a rivalry, I didn't give a fuck. I just wanted to keep developing my game. And on top of that, we only played them one time in the playoffs. So I didn't really feel like a genuine deep hate for the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? It was just they're a new fresh team. They on the rise. I fuck with them. And I'm going to play hard against them. I know some of their players. It is what it is. It's like San Antonio those years when you was on the team, I didn't like y'all.
Yeah, that was a rivalry.
Yeah, Memphis, when we played them, I didn't like Memphis at all. Those are the teams we've seen every year in the playoffs. The Warriors, they were just another team to me. So me going there and playing for them, it didn't matter if we'd have won or lost the series, I wanted to play there. And Warriors were so intriguing because I always...
There you have it. KD's comments about, his former teammates with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And there's a couple of things I want to take away from that. The first things first is that he said he felt like Golden State wasn't really a rivalry because he only played them one time in the playoffs. Yeah, but that one time that you're speaking of, you had them down 3-1 and they came back and beat you. That might not have been a rivalry at that point, but it seemed like it had all the makings of a rivalry when you have games and playoff series like that. But we'll push that to the side and talk about the comments he made about his former teammates. Like I said earlier, I think personally he was taking a couple of shots at his teammates. I mean, you may think differently, but I mean, to make it seem like he was the only person out there who could consistently get buckets and he was tired of pretty much doing, I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what he was saying, is that he was the only person out there who could consistently get buckets and make plays, and he got tired of being the only person. KD, I don't know if you know this, but you had a guy by the name of Russell Westbrook on your team too. I mean, he's a very good playmaker. He might not have been as consistent as far as jump shooting and everything, but he's a pretty damn good player in his own right. I wonder how he's going to feel about that with All-Star Weekend coming up and all the players getting together and mingling. But anyway, speaking of All-Star Weekend, it's going to take place up in Chi-Town, where you're going to have, Team Giannis versus Team LeBron for the All-Star Weekend. And All-Star Weekend is going to look a little bit different this year. They're going to have different jerseys. As you can see in the background right here, you got number 24 and 2. The reason why they're wearing these two jerseys are going to be to honor Gigi and Kobe Bryant, who perished a couple weeks ago in their untimely deaths. LeBron James team, everybody on the team will be wearing number 2 to honor Gigi. Everybody on Giannis's team is going to be wearing 24 to honor Kobe Bryant, which I think is a dope idea. This year's All-Star Game is going to be a little bit different. It's going to have a different feel to it this year. They added some new rules to the game. I'm not going to get into all the rules. If you want to know what the new rules are, research them, let them know yourself. But one of the dope things that they did add to the game is that the winning team who is leading after each quarter, $100,000 is going to be donated to that team's charity of choice, which I think is a dope idea. So let's say Team LeBron is leading every single quarter. Well, that's $400,000 is going to be donated to a charity, which I think is really, really dope, the NBA doing that. Also, one little added wrinkle, in the fourth quarter, you'll see what I'm talking about when it comes, but in the fourth quarter, it's going to have a pickup ball game feel to it, where it's going to be no shot clock, and the first one to a certain score wins the ball game. So it's going to be like true pickup out there. So fourth quarter is going to be real interesting. I'm really interested to see how these new rules and regulations are going to go for the NBA All-Star Game. So we got the NBA All-Star Game. So let's talk about the teams. Where you have, first thing up is you have Team Giannis right here. I don't know what the hell Giannis was thinking when he picked his team. He had the second pick in the draft. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. He picked Joel Embiid with the second overall pick. I guess he thought he was putting together a world team and teammates, but, I don't know. But let's check out his roster that he has right here. We got Kemba, Spicy P, Iceberg Trey, like I mentioned, Joel Embiid, Jimmy Buckets, Kyle Lowry, Brandon Ingram, Bam Adebayo, Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, and of course his teammate Chris Middleton in there. It's an okay All-Star team, but if I'm trying to beat LeBron James, I don't know if this team is going to cut it. So let's go to LeBron James's team and see what he has in store. So LeBron James, he had the first overall pick, and with his first pick, of course, he picked his teammate AD. Can't go wrong with that. But he had the first and the third. So he had the first pick, he picked AD. Giannis picked Joel Embiid. And then he picked Kawhi for his third pick. So you have LeBron, AD, and Kawhi all on the same team. But let's go ahead and look at LeBron James's team that he has right here. Okay, like I mentioned, he has himself. He has James Harden, Luka, Kawhi, AD, Sabonis, Logo, Lillard, Ben Simmons, the Joker, Russell Westbrook, Jason Tatum, and to round it out, his homeboy Chris Paul from back in the day. Man, I don't know about you, but this LeBron James team is like a it's like a 2K team that you just put together, man. I don't know. I see this team winning by a lot. Well, I ain't gonna say by a lot because the last quarter you have to win by 24, but I'll let you research that later on. But anyways, I see Team LeBron winning because you just have too many killers and go-getters on that team right there. You have Hall of Fame players all over the place. You got LeBron, who's going to be Hall of Fame. AD, he keep it up. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Kawhi's going to be in the Hall of Fame. James Harden in the Hall of Fame. Russell Westbrook going to be in the Hall of Fame. Chris Paul's going to be like, this team is littered with Hall of Fame players. And I just don't see Giannis beating this team as well. So anyways, enough All-Star break. Let's talk about some NBA trades that happened over last week. The first trade I want to talk about is Andre Drummond. This trade right here, I don't think it's really going to mean too much. I mean, he went from one horrible team to another horrible team. Trading to the Cavs, I think, was pretty much a salary dump for the Detroit Pistons. I think Andre Drummond's contract is going to be up this summer. and they knew he wasn't going to resign, or they knew they weren't going to re-sign him. So they did whatever they could to try to trade him, get a couple of picks for him, and that's basically what they did. Because I mean, to be honest, they traded Andre Drummond for a bologna sandwich and a Faygo pop. If you're from the South, you know what a Faygo pop is. But anyways, let's go on to the next trade we have that took place, and you got Clint Capela, who went from the Houston Rockets over to the Atlanta Hawks. Now, this trade right here was interesting because it signals that the Houston Rockets are going small ball. And when they made this trade, they went 2-1 last week by playing small ball, and they actually beat the Los Angeles Lakers when they went small ball. So I'm not saying it's going to win a championship because, like Pat Riley said, no rebounds, no rings. And I just don't see them rebounding in the playoffs. You know, you have the Lakers, you have the Utah Jazz with Rudy Gobert, you have the Clippers with Montrezl Harrell and Marcus. Like you just have too many big men in the West to be trying to compete for rebounds in the playoffs when the game is slowed down completely and every possession matters. Yeah, the Houston Rockets seem like they're built for the season and not for the playoffs. But this trade right here, when you traded away Clint Capela, who was averaging 14-14, not bad, not great, but it was okay. And then it was reported they was trying to make a trade for Tristan Thompson. Why would you try to trade for Tristan Thompson when he's going to come in and do the exact same thing Clint Capela did? That just made no sense to me. But of course, the trade didn't go through. Clint Capela's over at the Atlanta Hawks with Iceberg Trey. We'll see how that duo shapes up in the future. But anyways, moving on, you have the next trade where you have the Golden State Warriors, and the mega deal that they had is probably the blockbuster trade of the trade deadline, where you had D'Angelo Russell getting traded for Andrew Wiggins. So you had D'Lo going from out west to the Midwest. This trade right here, it's not going to move the needle. It's not going to do anything. The Timberwolves is horrible with Andrew Wiggins. They're going to be horrible with D'Angelo Russell. It's really not going to make that much of a difference for real. I just think the Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns, chemistry issues there. I don't think they really, got along on and off the court. So I never thought that was going to go anywhere. But the Andrew Wiggins trade from the Timberwolves to Golden State is very, very interesting. And I'm going to get into why I feel like it's very, very interesting. So, like I said, D'Lo to the Timberwolves, I mean, it's not going to make that much of a difference for them. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to make no noise. But anyways, you have Andrew Wiggins, who went from the T-Wolves over to the Golden State Warriors. And like I said, this trade right here, I think this is a setup trade. Now, listen what I'm trying to tell you. Now, you got Andrew Wiggins, right? Now, it's been reported that the Golden State Warriors are after Giannis hard when he becomes a free agent. See where I'm going with this? So you have Giannis, who may or may not stay with Milwaukee depending on what they do this season and next season, because he becomes a free agent next summer. Let's say, for instance, he tells the Milwaukee Bucks, hey, look, I'm not going to resign. Let's say they make it to the NBA Finals. Let's say they don't win. Let's say they regress the second year. And he says, hey, look, I think I want to try my options, explore, my career elsewhere. You might want to trade and get something for me. So what did the Milwaukee Bucks do? They dial up Golden State. Hey, Andrew Wiggins got a couple years left on his contract. What are you guys thinking about doing a sign and trade? Because remember, the Golden State Warriors, they're going to have a lottery pick this year. It's probably going to be in the top 10. So they're probably going to get a nice young player. So you have a lottery pick from this year, Andrew Wiggins, bottle it up with some more players and some more picks, obviously, for Giannis, do a sign and trade, and now you got Giannis going from the Milwaukee Bucks over to the Golden State Warriors. I think that's more realistic to happen than not, because if Giannis goes to them and says he's going to walk, why not try to get something for him for where you don't have to rebuild? So the Milwaukee Bucks, they'll get Andrew Wiggins, and the Golden State Warriors, they'll end up with Giannis. I would keep a close eye on this trade long term, not this year, but long term. This might have some serious effects out west. But anyways, you have the next trade that took place, which was Andre Iguodala going from the Memphis Grizzlies over to the Miami Heat. Again, a trade that's really not going to mean too much in the scheme of things, because what are the Miami Heat really going to do this year? I mean, they were third, maybe fourth best team out east. You had the Celtics, you had the Milwaukee Bucks, 76ers, and the Miami Heat. Depending on how it goes, Best case scenario, the Miami Heat make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they make it there because of the matchups that they have, not because they're good, but just because of how the matchups and the seedings will fall. You have Milwaukee being the best in the East, and then the Boston Celtics right behind them. The 76ers, I don't know what's going on with them. They're having some inner turmoil problems. I don't think Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, I don't think that experiment is going to work because you have Embiid who needs room in the middle to operate. But for whatever reason, Embiid's got it in his mind that he's a point guard. He wants to start jacking up threes. He's 7'2" out there shooting threes. Dog, that's not what you do. Get your little butt in. Get down in the paint and do what you do and start punishing people. But when he gets down in the paint, he starts punishing people. That doesn't help Ben Simmons because he's not a spot-up shooter, or is he a shooter? He's a straight slasher. So him is calling up the paint. I just don't think that's going to work. One or both. One of them's got to go. Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid, I think it's got to go. But anyways, for the Miami Heat and Iggy, it's not really going to make that much of a difference. They're not going to get to the NBA Finals. I mean, this is just an extra piece to add to a team that Pat Riley is building just for the future, even though they gave away some of their future players like Justice Winslow and everything like that. This is a team that he's trying to build with some veterans to add around to maybe get a big piece in the summertime. But this trade it's not going to make any noise. But this next trade, it is going to make some noise. It's going to have a big effect. You got Marcus Morris right here that's got traded from the New York Knicks over to the Los Angeles Clippers. Well, it was reported that it was a trade battle going on from the Clippers and the Lakers for Marcus Morris' services. It was reported that the Knicks wanted Kuzma and Danny Green for Marcus Morris, and the Lakers just didn't want to do that trade. Now, I know you're probably thinking, why not? Well, first of all, they can't trade Kuz straight up for Marcus because of salary cap, because of salary reasons. Their numbers just don't match up. And so they had to throw in a player like Danny Green. Well, the Lakers felt like that was too much to be given away. Now, Marcus is a good player, but he's not a star player or anything like that that's going to get you over the hump of any, playoff season. Yeah, he's going to help you. He's going to provide great playoff depth on your bench where you have Sweet Lou Williams, Montrez, and then you got Marcus. Not only that, you have another wing defender that you can possibly throw at LeBron and the Lakers if you match up with them. So then you have Kawhi who can take LeBron for a little bit, Paul George who can take LeBron, and then you have Marcus who can take LeBron. So you have different bodies that you can throw at the Lakers if and when that matchup ever happens. I just think this trade is great for the Los Angeles Clippers. I mean, it makes them almost probably the best team out west. I mean, I'm a Lakers guy, but this team right here has so much depth and so much firepower, and they can lock you down defensively. There's just so many things that they can do on that team to where the Lakers' problem is really their depth. When LeBron or AD goes to the bench, they don't really have anybody to come in and be that second scorer with the unit. So when LeBron goes out, they need another scorer to come in. Or when AD's in, they need another second scorer to come in. And also their Lakers bench depth is not that consistent. The thing the Clippers have is bench depth and it's consistent. You know what Sweet Lou Williams is going to do. You know what Trez is going to do. And then you get Marcus, who's a proven playoff winner. They're going to do some damage. So that trade right there just may have tipped the tides of balance in the West in the Clippers' favor. If they weren't already favorites, they're probably even more favorites right now to come out of the West. So LeBron, the Lakers, they got their work cut out for them. The Lakers, they should have made that trade, but I get it. They didn't want to give up Danny Green and Danny Green and Kyle Kuzma for Marcus Morris because that's probably, too much for one player that's a role player. But man, if you could trade Kyle Kuzma for Marcus Morris, I probably would have done that straight up. But anyways, this is our NBA Weekly Recap show here on Beyond the Game. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at KY Beyond the Game, on Instagram at Beyond the Game KY. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, KY Beyond the Game as well. I think I got those right. I hope I got those right. But anyways, we get ready to get up out of here. Make sure you check out some of these highlights from the past week. Follow us, share this, let everybody know what one of the best radio shows is around. We're on every single Monday from 6 to 7 on 93.9 FM. If you're not in the Lexington, Kentucky area, download the WLXU app, so therefore you can listen to it on your phone, your tablet, no matter where you at. You can hear one of the best radio shows in town, in the country, wherever you at. Check out these highlights, and I'll holler at you next week. Peace.
Westbrook left wide open, had to kick it out, picked off.
Here's the ball deuce to Alkovich. Behind the dribble. Foxy takes it away.
Show us something, LeBron.
In the show, Fred.
Will be points on the turnover. JJ lines it up. And how about that by Jackson Hayes? Not a bad follow. And a timeout for Jim Boylan.
There's a benefit.
I think JJ liked
yes, there is a benefit of having a high motor. Sometimes you don't get it. You got to go get it. That's nice, Jackson Hayes.
Nice little dribble here right between his legs. The defense going, sliding, and he just...
Walker knew he was open. Herder off the bounce this time. Steps back down for the three. Knocks that one down.
Free battle back to Adebayo. Oh, my goodness gracious. That is a man playing amongst boys in the paint tonight.
Goodness.
I mean, look at the power here.
That's the
Six. Only 2 points
since then.
and then you've got that jam right there. Wow. That face says it all.
And it rebounds right into the hands of Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Perfectly positioned, wasn't
Yes.
it? Perfectly positioned.
He's played well this year, too. Nice crossover.
And in an open lane to Wright. A spin-a-rama shot goes in for Wright.
Good shot if I've ever seen one. He has played well this year, too. Nice crossover.
And in an open lane to Wright. A spin-a-rama shot goes in for Wright.
Good shot if I've ever seen one. Outstanding crossover, and then the present.